I want to direct you to a blog post that I posted in the description, and the title is Russia's Dreaming Sochi Olympics 2014. Sochi, Center of the Universe, ? Connection to Super Bowl, horses, heroin, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and the movie that he starred in 2007 called The Devil Knows You're Dead. I'm going to also talk to you today about astrology and magnetics in your magnetic field, and how the power control force are using astrology, the astrological alignments, or the planetary alignments, and in order to manipulate events on the physical world stage. I think that's really important stuff that we should be focusing on. We need to be able to understand at a more deeper level the script, where the scripts and the narratives are coming from. So in terms of the Russia Sochi Olympics, it turns out that Russia is dreaming at the Sochi 2014 Olympics this year. And so the question becomes not who's dreaming what, but who's dreaming whose dream. Now the show, the opening ceremonies, always provides us clues, if we can understand at a deeper level, of what's coming from a ritual standpoint. So this is a precursor to some mega rituals that'll be happening on the physical world stage, unbeknownst to most people. This is just a precursor. The Olympics is a precursor to mega rituals that will transpire on the physical world stage, and this is going to be a very big year. So the element of surprise and awe will be astounding for many. And so what we see here is we start off the Russian, for those of you who probably have seen it, I didn't actually watch all of it. I didn't watch any of it, actually. I just take bits and pieces of what I gather from things that I read. And so the show started, it was formally titled Dreams About Russia. So the central character in the show, however, was a little known 11-year-old. Her name was Liza, and she's from Krasnodar, the capital of the region where the Sochi Olympics is. And she's a daughter of 2 taxi drivers. She apparently won the role in the casting call. And here it's very symbolic. If we look at the archetype of the child, is the divine essence child. They had child symbolism in the 2012 Olympics as well. Her character, named Love Boy, which means love, led the audience on a journey across centuries, as well as Russia's roughly 4,400-mile expanse across 9 time zones from Europe to the Pacific Ocean and from the Arctic Sea to the Black Sea. The other thing that I want to show you here is this young girl is actually a picture that I've added. For those of you on Facebook, I have added a little bit to this blog post, because I did post this several days ago. So if you want to join me on Facebook, you can, at the end of this podcast, I will give you the information on that. But anyway, I've added a picture with this little girl going through what would seem like a gate or a door of some sort, but it's really the phi symbol. It is a signature. Phi is a signature of the Creator. You witness it in math, nature, arts, and the human body. And it's also associated with the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, which is the order of creation. The sequence is based on the mathematical works of Leonardo Fibonacci, who lived in the 13th century. The Fibonacci sequence is also referred to as the golden ratio. The ratio has been found to occur in many forms within nature, basically all of creation. The Fibonacci sequence takes the numbers derived from the golden ratio and ascribes them into a binary code, because behind everything that we experience here on the physical plane is a mathematical code. The code has many uses and has found application in such areas from programming to market analysis. That is the stock market. and programming, exactly. We live in a programmed reality, a computer simulation, and behind this program, what we see in the physical earth plane, behind that, on another whole nother level, is this binary code, which is made up of mathematics. Now, the power control force, again, use technology, as you know, and they also use the energy grid of the earth and vortexes, new and old, and existing, to control the frequency of the earth. And they use astrology and planetary aspects and planetary alignments to control the influx of energy flows onto the earth in order to maintain their control over the human species and this control system. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. After I finish this, I'll talk about the astrology and the magnetics that we're going to be talking more about in the weeks and months coming. So the other photo that I have here is the photo in the very beginning of the Sochi Olympics. They had horses pulling a horse, pulling the sun. And I thought that was quite interesting. And this, I knew there would be some element of horses because it probably coincides with the Chinese wooden year of the horse. But not only that, on a deeper level, I think it's to highlight the energy that's being unleashed from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, which is home to the Dark Horse Nebulae. The Dark Horse Nebulae is at the foot of Orpheus, the star system Orpheus, who's holding the serpent. This is star system constellation in that is in the on the ecliptic, runs along the ecliptic in the solar system. And so I thought this is quite interesting because if you look at the picture that I have here, showing the Dark Horse Nebulae is in the Milky Way galaxy, and it looks like a horse. It's quite interesting. So this is a subliminal that most won't get, but about the new energy coming from deep space, which is causing the solar revolution to support the mutation of the human species, and has nothing to do, this has nothing to do with transhumanism. Again, transhumanism is a simulation of what the power control force are trying to simulate, the organic mutation that's occurring amongst many or all of us. Some are experiencing it varying deep levels of this mutation. I know I am. And many are not even aware of what is happening. A lot of them are feeling a lot of emotional tension within their lives, within themselves, a lot of discordance. You may be feeling that. I know that I was feeling the last couple of days. You know, I feel like this, it's like this matrix is, I'm in, this matrix is formed on my body, and it just, it's like this, I can really feel how there's this dismantling of this structure that I've grown into, that's locked on this human body that is just dismantling. And so I know that that's my own personal experience. So really what it is that I am dismantling this matrix that I am enslaved in. And it's a beautiful experience, one in which I can totally comprehend. It's been a 15-year process for me, mostly starting about 2006, when the major dismantling started to happen for me. But it's so profound, and just to know and experience this is just so awesome. So when I say I have no purpose for being here, it's really, you know, the mundane reality in which we experience through the third dimensional reality. I just have no interest in. And what I am interested in is this unfoldment, my own personal unfoldment, as I dismantle this matrix off of my physical being, so that I can experience more as awareness and not be at the mercy of the construct in which I was born into. It's just absolutely stunning. And so therefore I can what? Create. I am creating an alternate reality than the one that's being spoon-fed to me. It's happening moment by moment. And we all can participate in this. And so that's the glory and the wonder and the magic. For many, it will seem magical, and it is in a lot of respects, but really, it's really about coming into the gnosis of who and what you are as awareness and experiencing the glory of that in physical form. That's the opportunity for you. So remember, this whole transhumanism agenda is just another play to control the awareness that you are. It's nothing to do with this organic, natural process that the universal architects have manufactured as well, in order to keep the simulation game going, or rather to keep you from the knowing of who and what you are as awareness, simply resting in a constant state of paradise. Remember, the universal architects create both sides of the simulated game. They play good and bad, and they have to in order to maintain complete control and power. And remember, it doesn't have to make sense, because it doesn't. As above, so below. Something big is happening in the universe, and something wicked is happening and will continue to happen on the physical plane. Not by chance or accident, all by design to keep you from the truth of who you are as awareness. Therefore, what is paramount for you is to come to know the truth of who you are, detach from the simulated dream, and recreate your own dream instead of the one that's being spoon-fed to you. The freedom and peace you seek is within you, and it totally awaits you. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up was some connections in terms of this Denver Broncos, who lost to the Seattle Seahawks last week in the Super Bowl. Here again is another connection to the horse theme at play, but it doesn't stop here. Keep reading. And if you look at the Denver Broncos logo, the horse is actually a gun. And you can also look online and see that the pictures online too. It's actually a gun, which I found quite interesting. But again, it's a horse. And so let us not forget, also in Denver, Colorado, we find a fiery yellow-red, a blue horse with fiery yellow-red eyes. The sculpture has been an icon, both beloved and hated. It has even been unofficially known by such names as the Denver Demon Mustang, Lucifer, Diablo, and Satan's Stallion. There's a connection with the horses and Denver Broncos and the Super Bowl, the mega ritual, or the ritual that happened there. And so if we dare to dream and witness the connections here, the Trojan War, you may want to look up that mythology of the Trojan War, the Helen of Troy, and the Trojan War theme, because it is at play again, and that element of surprise and awe that we will experience on the physical world stage. What it will be, I do not know. Only a few know what that's going to be. And again, it would seem that the Sochi Olympic ceremonies was providing some clues as to the next surprise for humanity, but it seems only a few really are in the know. We'll have to wait and see what they surprise us with next. All we can do is prepare. So, on a side note, it turns out that the name Philip is from the Greek name Philippos, which means friend of horses. And the slang word for horse is heroin. Pretty interesting connections here with the death of Philip Seymour Hoffman, who died of a heroin overdose the same day as the Denver Broncos lost the Super Bowl on February 2nd, 2014. In 2007, Philip Seymour Hoffman starred in the movie Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Apparently, the title comes from the Irish saying, "May you be in heaven a full half hour before the devil knows you're dead." And I think that the Sochi Olympics opening ceremonies were referencing heaven, on a lot of levels too, with the Milky Way galaxy, the womb of the mother, of which we supposedly have all come from. Ah, yes. The film unfolds non-linearly, repeatedly going back and forth in time, with some scenes shown from various points of view. In this movie, Philip Seymour Hoffman was actually killed. His character dies in the movie. Now remember, your reality is well scripted, well choreographed, therefore many May you come to know self as awareness before the devil, the power control force, or Satan for that matter, realizes their dream is over, as we continue to dream our own dream. And so the only question left is, who's dreaming who? And then I have mirror, mirror. So it's a mirror. Everything that we're seeing on the external reflective, all the beauty and the glory that we see on the external reflective is what's keeping us caught in the illusion that seduces us to want to stay in the illusion of this reality. Because the glorious reflection, all the beauty that we see on the physical world stage is a reflection, and only a minute reflection of who and what we are. Everything that we see that is negative on this earth plane is the antithesis of who and what we are. But everything that we see, and that is what causes us to question everything when we see the amount of negativity. But that is what's needed in order to keep this planet and this game going, is the negativity. So the power control force must keep the frequency of this planet very low and keep you in utter fear and chaos of what's coming next. Doubt and confusion of what's coming next. But again, when you see the glory and you see the beauty on this planet, it's what's seducing you into believing that this is all real. And that's why so many people are caught up in the illusion of this reality, of this illusory reality. So I want to talk to you about this astrological map or script that the power control force are using, because we're going to talk more about that. That's what we need to be focusing on. So remember, Hollywood is controlled by the power control force, and they project their agenda through their movies, their sporting events like the Super Bowl and like the Olympics. And they use these mega rituals. That's where they use these mega rituals. And the energy, the energy of everyone participating and everyone focusing their attention, they're harvesting your energy in order to produce these mega rituals. And they use numbers and imagery and symbols, and they love their dates because repetition is important. To facilitate these dates on these events on specific dates, very important. So, and they understand that something from the spirit world, that is this new energy from deep space, is entering the earthly realm, and vice versa. Some elements will be removed from Earth during this transmission. It is a transmission due to the change in frequency. It is anticipated that when the level of frequency becomes fully activated in humanity, that the ability to create a new body, which is what we're going through, this is a mutation, will be attained due to a literal change in makeup of our human DNA. They know this, and that's why they have this transhumanism agenda, mirroring this mutation that we are experiencing, the human species that is experiencing. So what will facilitate this event is a configuration of two pillars, or as 11 to be or as an 11 to be made out as a stargate or a gateway. That's what I showed you, that pie with the little girl walking through. That's it. It's like a stargate. It is said that the magnetic forces that can be channeled from the universe is what is needed to allow for this transformation, this door opening or exchange and birthing or rebirthing to happen. They know this, and so they use the planetary alignments and these aspects, these aspects of these planets in order to facilitate their agenda. Now, the astrological birth chart is an X-ray of your personality. It shows you how you operate within your own personal magnetic field. This is so important because as you have a magnetic field around you, the Earth does. And her magnetic field is being changed and altered by the solar activity that's happening And so she has a magnetic field, and so do you. So your magnetic field is changing as well. This is the mutation. So we are miniature universes, so that every energy operating in the larger universe is operating in our own personal magnetic field. We are part of this universe. Life flows and changes take place. When energy is released from the planets and other anomalies that happen in the universe, it impacts us. And how we release these energies is the all-important factor. Most people are not aware that this is even occurring. And so the birth chart shows the tendencies and conditioning of how we are wired to respond to these energy shifts through the personality that is you. The birth chart rules the personality in the world of appearances. But remember, we are awareness too. So therefore, if we learn to operate as awareness and then we rule the planetary movements or energies. And we are not ruled by them. And therefore, we have a right not to choose to respond negatively, but we can choose to respond positively to these energies. That's what we have to do. We have to learn the art of working with these energies, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you more in the future. Now, when the planets aspect one another, it identifies to us the flow of force between the planets, and this provides us with information as to how we are responding to these energies that will manifest to us in our use or abuse of the energies, as the flow of forces between planets affects our magnetic field. They show, the planets and these aspects show dispositions and predispositions to action and reaction for each and every one of us. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you have any questions for me, let me know. If you want to join me on Facebook, it's KERRACE, Alexander. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just wanted to show you the connections with the Sochi Olympics and the new energies that are coming onto the planet. And as we move forward, we're going to be talking a lot more about how the power control force is using astrology in order to manipulate events on this physical plane in order to facilitate their dark and sinister program of enslaving this physical world. We'll talk to you soon. We're not going to let that happen, right? Take care. Bye-bye.